Ascension and the New Age are different. Here's what you need to know if you want to ascend. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I help people master the law of attraction, spiritually awaken, and embark on a path of ascension. In this video, I'm going to explain to you the difference between ascension energy and New Age energy and why it is so important for you to understand this if you want to embark on a path of ascension for yourself. Now, be forewarned that some of what I'm going to say here might be radically different from anything you've ever heard before. Now, the New Age is commonly thought of as a path of spirituality that involves things like the use of crystals, oracle cards, channelings, and certain rituals, all of which can be extremely positive and helpful. And all of these things are generally utilized to support one's experience of their own spirituality. So that's all great. But here's where the New Age differs from Ascension. The New Age is more of a horizontal path. It's basically earth-based in terms of its context. So it's actually a smaller context that is confined, in general, to our daily experience on planet Earth. In other words, the New Age fundamentally seeks to experience a higher level of spirituality in terms of our life on this planet, to improve things on Earth and to just make things better all the way around. So in that sense, it can be a fantastic alternative to traditional old school types of spirituality. However, in the New Age consciousness or mindset or context, the fundamentals of life don't really change. We still accept death, we still accept pain, we still accept suffering. We accept that those things all have a spiritual meaning and that that's why they exist. We accept, for example, that Earth is like a school and we are here to go through all of these experiences in order to learn something. So even though we want to improve on these situations, we want to make life better in the New Age, we still have all of these troubles rationalized in a spiritual way. Now, the context for ascension and spiritually awaken is very different from the smaller context of the New Age. And I want to add here that right now, we are only in the infant stages of our spiritual awakening on a collective level. We still have a long ways to go. It doesn't mean it can't happen quickly, but it's really up to us in some sense, each of us as individuals, how quickly it goes for any one of us or for all of us on a collective basis. So the stage of spiritual awakening that we are at right now is we are awakening to the fact that we are infinite spiritual beings. We are not our physical bodies. However, we still have to reach the stage where we are true to ourselves as infinite beings. We're not quite there yet. And that part is huge, my friends, because that's where all the power is. All the power will come to us when we learn to have integrity and be true to who we are as the infinite beings of love and light and fully embrace that true self. So right now, people are waking up, but you see, there's still a lot of confusion, right? Because when you spiritually awaken, it causes a lot of disruption in terms of your relationships, your interests, your desires, maybe even career. All kinds of things start to fluctuate in your experience, and it can cause a good deal of confusion. So there's a bit of a transition that needs to occur from when a person begins to wake up spiritually to who they really are and move through that phase of confusion and feeling destabilized into an even deeper awakening, an even more powerful awakening, where you can actually be true to your infinite self above and beyond all else. So imagine how incredible that will be. So spiritual awakening is truly essential to be able to consciously engage with ascension energy. And ascension should be viewed as an opportunity. Ascension energy is actually a window of opportunity in terms of our journey in the cosmos. So in ascension, the context is much bigger. It occurs in a universal extraterrestrial context. Extraterrestrial means beyond the terrestrial Earth. Okay, that's the literal meaning of the word extraterrestrial. So you have to be able to expand your consciousness well beyond just this planet. So you have to let go of a belief that what happens on this earth and what happens in relationship to this earth, which would include the cycle of birth and death, reincarnation, all of that earth-centric context, you have to kind of let go of the belief that that's all there is, that's the center of everything, and there's nothing to be concerned about outside of that situation. And that includes being willing to release some of those old ancient filters that perceive life on Earth as you have known it thus far. So the general context of the New Age, you can look at it like it's this big. The context for ascension energy is vast, it's huge, it's interdimensional. It should be interuniversal, guys, but let's just stick with universal for right now. Now let's look at these differences in another way. So the New Age ideas and ideals are essentially stationary in the sense that I'm talking about it here. The New Age seeks to preserve the structures and beliefs about life on Earth and then lend a spirituality to those structures and beliefs. The New Age is very supportive of a person as a spiritual being. It's peaceful, it's benevolent, it's wonderful actually. However, it can only go so far because it is confined to a limited system of beliefs. So that's what I mean when I suggest that the New Age is rather stationary when compared to Ascension. Ascension energy, on the other hand, is extremely dynamic. It's very high vibrational. It's all about accelerated evolution and movement well beyond anything that we can actually conceive of in our current state on this planetary Earth. Now, you cannot control ascension energy. You cannot encapsulate it. And once you consciously begin to enter that stream of ascension energy, you might begin to feel that your life is kind of unfolding in ways that are not really within your previous realm of control. Your vibration will begin to radically change, and that will indeed influence your relationships, your life, and so many other things. And you will possibly begin to see that the universe is a whole lot bigger and more vast and more powerful than you may have previously understood. In the New Age, you can philosophize, you can encapsulate, you can just come up with ideas and explain away pretty much anything you want to explain away. So in some sense, with the New Age, you are still very much in control of how your spiritual path unfolds for you on a typically ordinary conscious level. It's kind of like going into a nice little room where everything is just the way you want it, and everything else that you've always known can still remain in place in the way in which you've always known it to be. So you might say that the New Age is very much conceptual or conceptually oriented when you compare it to Ascension. Now, Ascension, on the other hand, Ascension energy, but in contrast, is an actual force of evolution. It's a force in the cosmos, in the galaxy, in the universe. It's a force that evolves all of life and ultimately evolves the entire universe. So it's not an energy that we are in control of. It's not conceptual in nature. Now, I know a lot of people try to conceptualize Ascension by referring to 3D, 4D, 5D, and up. But the truth is, ascension energy is vast, it's huge, it's powerful. So the best way to approach it is think of it as an opportunity that you can wake up into and consciously interact with, so that that energy can support you in moving forward in the cosmos as an infinite being whose journey is really about coming back into who you really are 100%. So ascension requires surrender. It requires a profound level of honesty with yourself, a deeply profound level of integrity with yourself. And I don't mean integrity and honesty in the context of life on earth, be a good person and all that sort of thing. I'm talking about integrity and honesty at such a powerful level. And I'll go into this in future videos because that's a whole other topic. But understand that ascension holds a promise within it of a magnificent experience that is available to you to the extent that you are willing to surrender, to be deeply honest with yourself, and definitely not try to follow the crowd and be like everybody else and all of that kind of thing. If you basically want to preserve your fundamental beliefs about life, about planet Earth, if you are the sort of person that is content with lending spiritual explanations to all of the pain and suffering, and you feel that you have practices and techniques to help you get through all of that on this earth, if you believe that reincarnation is really the thing, you're probably going to be very happy to stay inside that context of the New Age, where you can feel basically in control of those beliefs and continue to hold on to them. On the other hand, if you are the sort of person where you feel like, you know what, I think I've had enough of all this stuff and I'm really ready to move on. I'm ready to go into that vast unknown where you're ready to trust your inner being, your infinite self that is made of love and light and nothing else. That has an incredible intelligence where you are connected to something so vast and so profound, and you really just want to go back to reality again, which doesn't include all of this craziness. You're probably a person who's going to be happier aligning with ascension energy, because for you, it could become an amazing adventure. Now, I want to add something else here that might be a little bit controversial. If you really feel that you need to be able to explain away the entire universe and everything that goes on through the lens of where you stand right now and what you know right now, or you want to explain ascension through what I would refer to as a New Age lens, you can do that. However, if you do, you're going to miss out on the most incredible window of opportunity that we have seen on this earth, maybe ever. So if you are willing to trust yourself, trust your heart, and know that you are connected to the most profound source of all creation for real, and that's really who you are, and you're ready for that incredible adventure that Ascension provides you with, and you are willing to let go of a lot, you're willing to surrender all of that which you forced yourself to believe was the truth, even though your heart told you this can't be the way that it is, right? You have a golden opportunity, and I totally support you in taking advantage of that. I don't want to tell you which way to go because we're all different. Everyone has different needs. Each one of us is unique in terms of how we will approach this time in our human evolution and in the evolution of our planet. Every single person is going to approach it in their own unique way. So what I would suggest to you is get in touch with your heart, get in touch with your inner being, engage in meditation so that you can go deeper within yourself. Be honest with yourself. Have integrity with your heart in the biggest way imaginable. And you will be profoundly amazed at where your journey will be able to take you. So hopefully in this video, you have experienced a little bit more clarity that will support you in aligning with that ascension energy. If that is your choice, And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and remember to share this out with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video. I'm sending you loads of light, love, and positive energy. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.